Welcome into a football show, Senior Bowl preview show. We're dragging some ass today.
Listen, it's day 3 in Mobile. Anybody that has been to this spot knows by the time you get to Thursday,
I'm anxious to see how Easton, JT, and James are doing because I know they went downtown last night. We got in.
Hang on.
Okay.
We don't know that they actually went downtown.
Okay.
What we know is that their plan was to go downtown after the Hot Read podcast last night, which was fantastic, by the way.
Well, we got just off the top of the show, Lions Ford, Lewisburg, Tennessee, lionsford.net is our travel sponsor. We appreciate them sending us down here so we can watch some Senior Bowl prospects. We've enjoyed it.
Yes.
We still got the game after today. We are staying in town and we got the game on Saturday, and you'll get content for that. But right now we got to talk about some day 3. But Denard Wilson got hired, baby.
Yeah, we celebrated that a little bit last night.
We celebrated this. Let's
With
just
some
say
tongue
this hangover is, or I'm not really hungover. I'm just really tired.
It's like the cumulative effects of like 3 straight minor hangovers in a row.
Yeah.
3 minor hangovers make a major hangover.
So we celebrate for Denard Wilson, of course, Terrell Williams. Sad to see Terrell Williams go, but things can get better.
Do you think they got him a Lions hoodie for today?
Well, we have been put on pullover watch today.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
and that was officially declared by Robbie and Rexroyd this morning that we are to communicate to them what he is wearing today. So we'll see. We'll see if the Lions pullover is out there. The Honolulu blue.
Yeah, Honolulu blue. Words are hard.
Hey, Zach Riley is correct. Tell him we're back up. Tell the people we're back.
We're back.
The Tennessee Titans are back.
We're back up.
Love some Denard Wilson. Charles Robinson earlier this morning on Robbie and Rex right before we came on the air said he thinks that Eric Studesville is the likely hire for the Tennessee Titans. So I like Eric Studesville.
Of the names we discussed in the car ride on the way down here, I think he's the name that I like the best.
He is. So a little bit Titans news, and of course, Jason Hoteling has gotten a job before Mike Vrabel. What the fuck is going on in the world?
It's bizarro.
It's crazy.
I mean, just when we thought this Titans cycle, this offseason couldn't get any weirder, Jason Hoteling gets a job before Mike
24 hours, less than 24 hours since he was let go. I think. I don't know, but it was like that. I can't believe that someone actually said, we need to bring that guy to help our offensive line learn how to communicate with each other.
People want the Haas, baby. People want the Haas.
The Haas cannot be stopped. Okay, so I need to pull it up. But we were talking yesterday, and we thought we kind of wish we had gone live with it, but it's probably a little too late for us to go live in our conversation. But Jim Nagy at the Senior Bowl press conference put out a pretty good statement. And well, I don't know if it's good, but a statement that we thought was interesting. And it was basically he said that the league saw only 58 underclassmen declare for the draft. The class is less deep. Super Bowl executive director Jim Nagy. It wiped out day 3 of the draft. NIL is certainly playing a role.
Yeah.
And so we were talking kind of about that because what we're seeing down here is a lot of guys that are draftable.
It's mostly day 3,
but they are mostly day 3 guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I agree. And listen, mock drafts aren't be all end all or anything, but I did a mock draft.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what's going on in round 4, who's available, and everybody's almost like it's like majority of Senior Bowl players that you would recognize and that have been playing good. Because we talked about it yesterday on our StackingTheInbox.com show that like Chris Abrams, Drain, Cam Hart, Max Melton, these are names that can be good contributors in round 4.
Andrew Phillips.
Yeah. And then you go to the top 32 of the consensus big boards.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, there's 2 quarterbacks here.
Yes.
But there's only 4 or 5 players that have worked themselves into the top 32 that are here at the Senior Bowl out of 2 53-man rosters or something like that.
And I've counted 5 that are actually playing this week.
Yeah.
It's Quinyon Mitchell, Talise Fuaga, Leatu Latu, Michael Penix Jr., and Bo Nix. So that's the 2 quarterbacks that are in there.
So what do you think about that? I mean, don't you think that this roster is made up of these Senior Bowl rosters are made up of day 3 guys?
Well, and I think
is he just promoting his own shit?
So
he does that.
So we were talking about it, and whenever you're having a good intellectual discussion at the bar with beers, you try to see things from all angles. So I tried to put myself in his shoes and try to see like what exactly he meant by this statement. And the best I could come up with, Zach, and like I told you, if I can recall this correctly, because I was drinking a lot of Ghost in the Machine.
Well, the good news is that I can't really correct you because I really don't remember what you said.
All right. Well, my thinking was, his thinking is, it's going to kill day 3 because guys who aren't going to be first or second round picks are going to opt to stay in school to get the NIL money.
Yeah, but then we kind of talked about, because now I do remember that. Now we've kind of talked about but there's a cycle,
there's
right?
A cycle, because eventually,
so for every guys that stayed come out,
yeah.
And then it's just going to be a cycle. I don't think we see effects in day 3, but I kind of feel like that maybe because they're staying in NIL, staying in school, your players are going to be a little bit better prepared for the NFL, but they're also going to be a little bit older, which is something that we're going to have to start adjusting and thinking about. Is like, okay, usually, so like when Will Levis came out last year, Hendon Hooker's another one. They are considered old by quarterback standards.
Yeah, sure.
But that standard is probably going to start shifting with the introduction of NIL, with it gaining a foothold. So now that data may become relevant. That data point may become relevant.
I mean, eventually you're going to have to get guys on the field right away, because you're only going to have 4 or 5 seasons before they're going to start drawing their retirement.
Well, speaking of people that need to get on the field right away and everything, who needs to show out today? And that is a big question. I think I got kind of 2 questions, because I was kind of writing down some names. It's like, who needs to show out today? Who doesn't need to show out, but also who doesn't need to play in the game on Saturday? So I know we got some stuff on that, and we'll get to Jake Robertson's question here because it's really good. But who in your mind needs to show out today?
I think it's Laiatu Latu. I think he was kind of the talk of town whenever he was announced as participating in the Senior Bowl. I called him the headliner at the time. Like, this is a big get. This was a guy that was in the conversation for the top 5, top 10 pick. And I think it was CBS Sports even had him mocked at first overall at one point in this stupid ass draft cycle. But, really hyped candidate. And I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I've got a full scouting report on him up at stackingtheinbox.com. But I think he was a guy that was expected to come down here and turn heads, and he hasn't necessarily turned heads so far. The arm length came back, and it's kind of short. It's something that does matter. Size matters, folks. Hate to break it to you, but you need
your significant other lied to you. Size matters.
You need a little bit of length to get around these big, lengthy, girthy tackles in the NFL. And man, I saw a rep. Our buddy James Foster pointed it out to me when we were watching the team activities on Tuesday. Where like Brevin Spann-Ford, the tight end from Minnesota, just like got into Latu and just backed him up a few yards. A big block on a big gain. And
Brevin Spann Jordan, is that his name? Brevin
Spann-Ford.
Ford. Yeah. He's a big boy.
I've liked him a lot this week.
Big boy.
But when you come down here and you're in the conversation, all due respect to Brevin Spann-Ford, if you're in the conversation for being a top 5, top 10 pick in the draft, and you're up there with Dallas Turner and Jared Verse in this edge rusher class, and maybe there are some questions about your length and your play strength, that kind of thing, you can't be getting backed off the line by a tight end that I don't think anybody's heard of. So for me, I pretty easily go to Laiatu Latu. This is his last practice. I doubt he plays in the game on Saturday, which is another point. Like half these dudes won't even be here on Saturday. That applies to the players and the media, as a matter of fact. But I think this is his kind of last gasp chance to go out there and really wow the scouts and the people in attendance today.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with you on that. I thought that was a good name. I'm gonna steal one off your side of the ball that you've been looking at.
Okay.
And I want to throw this name out there because I think it's a guy that has second round potential, but has not lived up to it consistently.
Ethan
and
Driscoll.
No, not Ethan Driscoll. Kingsley Suamataia.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that I know that there's Oklahoma tape you have to watch because we've talked about that, and you've watched the Texas game, and that's ironically enough. When you told me you watched the Texas game, I said, well, that's his worst game by far.
The worst possible tape you could start with.
But he hasn't really jumped off the page to you, and he's a guy that kind of needs a Senior Bowl to kind of either cement his status as day 2, and it doesn't seem like he's really seasoned the moment.
No,
he's not carpe diem.
I would echo
all around.
I would echo that. He's a big traitsy dude.
He gets his wins, but he hasn't done anything.
Big freaky boy.
Yeah.
I thought I don't remember which edge rusher. Somebody tried to throw a rip move at him, and he just shut it down completely. It's pretty impressive. Like, he has had his moments, but I think you're right. I'm with you in agreement on him. I think he was a guy that was like fringe, like day 2 pick, getting some love in the first round from some maniacs, but a guy that could have come out here and really stole the show this week that didn't do it. Got the size you look for, got the length you look for, traits. He's athletic, but man, he's got to pop a little more.
Yeah. It was a guy that I was like really excited to hear you come back, when we do our little sessions, our little breakout sessions. I was really excited for you to be like, yeah, dude, Kingsley Suamataia. I'm gonna have to dive into that film because he is destroying people down here.
I'm still gonna watch the Oklahoma game, but I've barely taken any notes about him this week.
And it's not that you're out on him or anything, but
no.
I mean, because I think people misconstrue sometimes when we're talking about this. You're gonna get some wins. You're gonna have some losses. Not everybody's gonna, unless you're Darius Robinson, you're not gonna have a perfect, record so far.
Yeah,
but when you're talking about the difference between for a prospect of being a round 2 and round 3, maybe even falling out to day 3, these days matter.
Sure.
And there's two guys that this today really matters. And they started off strong. Okay, so Tez Walker yesterday started off strong and got worse as the day went on. Xavier Legette started off slow yesterday, got better as the day goes on.
Yeah.
So there is no consistency between these two guys from day 1 to day 2 and how they approach the full day of practice.
Yeah.
These guys need today desperately. Tez Walker more desperately than Xavier Legette, but Xavier Legette needs it to get back into the good graces of some of the, I would say, more respected scouts in the community, specifically Dane Brugler, because when the beast comes out, the Dane Brugler's the beast, you're going to have to show some stuff because he's going to talk about what you did at the Senior Bowl. And I think that Xavier Legette has the tools. Can he dominate from first whistle to last whistle?
Yeah.
And same with Tez Walker. Can Tez Walker, I'm not expecting Tez Walker to be perfect, but can he from the first whistle to the last whistle be a guy that's not dropping 4 or 5 balls?
Well, and I think for Tez Walker, there's some mounting pressure for him because guys consider him a fringe first rounder. And I don't know how you can watch him this week and be like, yeah, this dude's a first rounder. I am confidently taking him at 28th overall. I just don't see how you can do it. At least with Legette, like he's not projected to be a night 1 pick, right? He's kind of always been in that middle round discussion that maybe his stock could accelerate this week up into the second round. But I don't know. I just think it's a crowded wide receiver group. And if these guys don't show up today, it's going to be hard to distinguish themselves from the rest of the pack.
Well, speaking of distinguishing yourselves,
those are words.
Who needs to show out today? Just any fucking inside linebacker. Someone give me something out of this inside linebacking group to want to write home about. I think the Kentucky guy, and again, I don't have Trevin Wallace. He was vocal yesterday, and he made some plays in pass coverage. But I need to see these inside linebackers step up. I've been really disappointed with the group, so I'm just asking. I'm pleading. Any inside linebacker, please stand up.
What does it say about this linebacking group that the first name you mention, the first thing you say about him is like, oh, he's vocal.
Yeah.
Like,
and he made some plays,
man.
but like, and your inside linebacker kind of needs to be that vocal energy guy.
Yeah.
But I need to see some splash plays. I need to see something from these guys.
Yeah.
Nobody's standing out like they stood out last year.
I don't. Yeah, last year I feel like we had a pretty good group.
We had like 4 or 5 that we thought were really high on, and now I'm just like they all are just the same guy.
I don't have any notes on any linebackers. I'm fairly confident I could flip through my book here, and I wouldn't find a single note on any linebacker.
Do you have another one? If not, I got one.
I don't have another one off the top of my head.
I actually pulled a U and actually went like 5
Well,
deep.
I stayed disciplined this morning.
I did not.
Unless you want to revisit the Jordan Morgan conversation.
No, but I was going to talk about like Dylan Lobby, Amani Bailey, and Daijun Edwards, the Georgia running back.
Yeah.
So all 3 are running backs. And I think that, these linebackers are gamers, gritty winners. We know what that means.
Yeah.
But Dylan Lobby, Amani Bailey, and Daijun Edwards are 3 running backs that have and Marshawn Lloyd. We don't talk enough about Marshawn Lloyd.
I told
on
you
this.
yesterday, like,
and I have clips of Marshawn Lloyd busting off wheel routes, and those 4 running backs have put together 2 consistently good days.
Yeah,
and so let's keep it going. I think these guys need this the most, especially the fringe, like 6th or 7th rounders. Maybe they sneak into the 5th round.
Yeah,
like it's just all about the separation. It's like varying degrees of needing a day, and I think that these guys have put together 2 really good days. All 4 of these guys. Let's see. Let's push it over the top, and then let's carry it into Saturday's game.
Let's go.
Okay. Here's a question from Jake Robertson that I really want.
All right, let's
to bust in. I'll read it to you. Who's been your biggest mover in draft stock in the first 2 days? Maybe Eric Watts, Charles Turner, or even Ryan Flournoy. I think the consensus answer for that is a guy that I wanted to talk about.
I know where you're going.
Is Darius Robinson.
Yeah,
Nobody has improved their stock more.
No,
than Darius Robinson. You're talking about a guy that was a 4th rounder,
like day 3
for sure. He may get into the first round.
First round. We're talking first round. Man, you brought his name up on the way down here, and you kept saying like these Mizzou guys on defense, like. This is these guys have been a lot of fun to watch this year. I'm particularly excited about Darius Robinson. And then we come down here and all of a sudden everybody's talking about Darius Robinson. And now we realize, oh, this is a thing. Like we're all in on Darius Robinson. And now the word is he might sneak into the first round.
Okay, so we said something yesterday about Jim Nagy's tweet about if I told you this comp, that would change everybody's mock draft. Okay, whatever.
Lawrence Taylor.
Okay, Dane Brugler said the whispers among scouts get a little louder every time Darius Robinson takes a rep during 1v1s. He's winning with get off, power, and technique. Skyrocket. He's skyrocketing. And maybe we're putting a little too much emphasis on the Senior Bowl stuff. But when Dane Brugler says something, I think everybody kind of needs to stop, take a moment, take some stock into it, and pay attention.
Yeah. To speak specifically to the guys he mentioned, we're big Flournoy fans. What's the term? Flourniacs? We're Flourniacs. Big, strong, fast, good start, stop, good concentration.
I think he's been the most consistent wide receiver out of the American team.
I can't remember who's on the American team right now.
Now, Brugler says Jaquan Jackson, but
yeah,
I agree. Jaquan Jackson's right up there, and so is Jamari Thrash. But I think I would go as the most consistent, probably Ryan Flournoy.
Yeah. I think Charles Turner III, CT3, has improved his stock this week because he was kind of an invisible guy heading into the week, but I've noticed him quite a bit. I said if Low Man Wins was a person, it would be CT3, but good hand usage, getting him inside, getting his butt down low, and just establishing his base and wrestling these dudes.
Yeah, I think, and here's another Darius Robinson tweet from Dane Brugler. Standing 5 feet away from Darius Robinson during drills, I was really impressed with the way he was communicating his rush plan and tactics with the other Senior Bowl defensive line in between reps. This guy's gonna go a lot higher than what people think. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know if I'm really sold on first round stuff yet, but I do think that this is a guy that's gone from a day 3 to a day 2 guy pretty easy.
I mean, I say fuck it.
So let me ask you.
Look at his length. Just take him.
Let me ask you a question. Roman Wilson, Darius Robinson, John Jackson Powers Johnson, what Austin Powers was what we're called, because I'm struggling today. And Quinion Mitchell. Okay.
Yeah.
Those 4 guys, Roman Wilson, Darius Robinson, Quinion Mitchell, and JPJ.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of them need to play on Saturday?
No.
If you're Roman Wilson, because we saw Michael Wilson and Tank Dell keep improving their stock throughout the week, and they played.
But I don't think I'm just looking at it from the perspective of how many guys opt out of the Senior Bowl game.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be half this roster that's not there on Saturday. And I think if anybody, if you're looking at guys that have excelled this week, that have earned that right, I think they're in that class.
Well, I think that will do it for us. I don't
think Fuaga should play either.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about
Fuaga should play.
The quarterbacks kind of have to play, right? Or unless they're going to let Sam Hartman play the whole game.
Sam Hartman versus Carter Bradley, baby.
Well, let me say something. The national team quarterbacks did not have a good day yesterday. I talk about people that need to improve, really.
Yeah.
These guys need to show up. Those guys need to show out today.
I want to watch a little of the quarterbacks today. And
well,
the
I'm
linebackers.
going to let you.
Yeah, because I'm like, this, I want to have a me day, like let's just go out there and enjoy and just watch whatever prospects come to me.
James Foster brings up your guy too. Rasheen Ali needs to be maybe a guy that needs a day 3 standout.
Yeah. I was hyped on him coming in, and he had a good first day, but like I don't even know if he was on the field yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, well, that will do it for us. BuildKG.com. Seekers Beverages are our normal sponsors, but our travel sponsor is Lines Forward, linesforward.net. They'll give you all, doesn't matter if you're looking for new, pre-owned, they're going to give you the best deal, the best trade-in value. I guarantee it because it shares my last name, and I know the owner. So there you go.
Okay.
Make sure to go to Lines Forward, linesforward.net. Give them a call, give them an email, a text, doesn't matter. Just give them a chance to earn your business, and that's what they'll do. For Stoney, follow him on X at Stoney Keeley. I'm Zach Lyons. You can follow me on X at FWordSpot, stackinginbox.com. We'll have some stuff coming out later today and tomorrow. And of course, SoBrosNetwork.com has some notes from around the Senior Bowl, practice notes. So make sure that you guys are going to all of our websites to get the best and most comprehensive Senior Bowl coverage.
We out here.
This has been a football show.